Everybody, welcome back to This Week at MBE. It's Biggs and I tonight. Of course, no sick. So let's start looking at everything. Biggs had on there. That's not a billet head. That's actually a cast cylinder head. Now we have 4 different versions of that small block Ford casting because we get them raw, spark plugs, everything. Nothing's machined in them. So we actually have 4 completely different heads. So we can hit pretty much every application you had. The reason why we have a 4th is the customer came in with something that we didn't have that would fit. I mean, I'm certain a lot of people would have just sold them what they had. We did a whole new program for it. So it was for road racing, 330 cubic inches, and we need to make a fast oval port for that thing with a smaller exhaust port, and we did all that. So that thing's gonna run. That's gonna run good. And so we'll go over here and talk about all this stuff. So we were doing a lightning program on there, so there's just a lot that goes into that, and we'll show you. But all the programming and all the CAD work and all the CAM work and then proofing out everything. Like I say, I wish it was a magic wand, but it's not. It takes a lot of time to do things correctly. But the cool part is, when you look at this stuff, there's it's 7.5 pounds off each head we take. So we know exactly how much we're taking off. But a lightning program, 7.5 pounds, that's 15 pounds off the car. The nose of the car, so it doesn't matter if it's road racing, drag racing. Nobody wants front and nose weight except maybe radial guys, maybe drag radial guys. But yeah, so we can see all of this. So all of this is solid in there when we get it. A lot of people just they'll go in there with a drill bit, and then go there with an end mill and just run a push rod so the push rod can follow. Not us. We go all out. So you can see all the lightning that's in there. So that is not something that takes 30 minutes, I promise you. But it doesn't matter what it takes. We just want it to be perfect. And 7.5 pounds, 15 pounds in the end is going to make the customer happy, and it's going to make them run better, and that's what we care about. Because if they don't run good, we don't sell anything. So very, very important. So we can talk about this one right here. This is a small port that we did, and we'll do a video on this maybe this week. I'm not sure. Probably in a couple weeks. But this is a 10-degree valve angle, 10 by 4, so it's canted 4 degrees. You can see this is a small oval port. Very fast, but this is designed for like 340 cubic inches, 330, and road race stuff, so it's significantly smaller. It looks big, but it's not. But yeah, so this is a kick-ass little piece right here. And then we have another 10 degree that we do that's like for super late models, things like that. But that is designed for like 430 cubic inch small blocks, super late models, things of that nature, in other applications for sure. And of course, then we have our 12 degree. And then we have our new 8 degree, and the new 8 degree is right here. This is 8 degree by 4. These haven't been valve jobbed yet. They'll be valve jobbed probably tomorrow. These are getting valve jobbed. But 8 degree by 4. This head flows on a 1020 flow bench. It flows 500 CFM. That is no bullshit. That is a real number. This port is very fast. This port is not huge. This is a very fast oval port. This is stuff for this is like Australian Pro Stock guys. They could use this and not have to run a billet head and maybe save themselves $4,000. We can put this. We do the same thing in the billet. This much more economical, and for a lot of the applications, it's a lot more water. I think we put a lot of water in our compared to most in our billet heads, but nothing like you can do with a water core, with a water jacket, with a cast head. But yeah, you can see all the lightning on this side. It looks like a billet head when it's finished. We had to write a program to get rid of the extra bolt holes here because they didn't want them. So we wrote all of that. Just a lot of little things. You can see this exhaust port's a little bit larger than the first one I was showing you. Yep, more cubic inch, more RPM, larger exhaust port, less cubic inch, less RPM. Especially this is road course stuff. The exhaust port needs to be smaller because a lot of times you're at 3,500 RPM coming out of turns. If you have a big exhaust port in it, it's just going to be lazy. It really hurts torque. It hurts it significantly. The weird part is if you go on the dyno, you really never see it. You only feel it in the car. Luckily, we understand that, so we do the right thing. And then, so let's go over here. And then Ian just finished this. So we'll just do a little quickie on this. So we see some things that every once in a while we'll see something on Facebook where the manifold porter is telling us that, or telling everybody that he doesn't cartridge roll because it runs better this way. It's so much better. I promise you the reason he's not cartridge rolling is because he's lazy and does not want to do significant or do incredible work. That is the only reason you would do that. That is such nonsense. The reason why that's important, so like when you grind a manifold, when you port a manifold, for instance, you'll start off with a burr like this, okay? Super aggressive, move material, and actually when you go to a rougher like this, it's actually easier to keep your line straight. So important to keep your line straight, and I'm going to get that into that, okay? We're going to do that. And then he'll go to a burr like this with more flutes on it. In the end, he'll go to something like this. And of course, he'll have to use lube because it's aluminum so it doesn't clog up. And then you go to cartridge rolls. And we'll start with this cartridge roll. The reason why we go with the roughest cartridge roll possible is we're trying to get these walls as straight as possible. If you can get them extremely straight, like in a carburetor application, it will pull more fuel at the booster of the carburetor, making the engine more efficient, which makes it accelerate harder. So, and then we'll go to a cartridge roll like this and like this. But the reason we have to go rougher is we have to keep these lines straight. And when I say straight, look at this. Ian just finished this. Ian is exceptional at his job. And if you can see that in there, this is why you do that. Can you see that, Biggs? How straight that is? There's no gap, there's nothing. And that's how you pull fuel, and that's how you make power, and that's how you make something efficient. Doing it the other way is such horse shit. All he's doing is knocking out about 20 hours worth of work instead of like here we do 38 hours. But you know what? That's why people come here, because they know the difference. All right, so all right, off of that, let's moving on. Okay, and then you got the billet manifolds, and of course we try to keep these, we keep these runners extremely straight so they pull fuel, so they accelerate, no matter if it's the small block or the big block. Yeah, anyway, so we'll move on past that. We're finishing this job up. So we had copper beryllium seats in it, old set of Blue Thunder heads, good lord, that's an old set of heads. But they're gonna have something, this is really coming along good. One of the things you can see all the weld here, when Bob was looking at it, he goes, you know, we could make things a lot better since we're putting seats in it if we raise the valve up, you know, basically raise the seat up, because these were down in there about 200 thousandths further. And what that does, it's going to help with airflow, it's going to help with everything. So we called the customer and said, hey, if we can put this weld in there, this thing's going to run much, much better. All the mid-lift numbers are going to be better, the high lift, everything's going to be better on it. And they're going to have a much better cylinder head, and then we don't have to deck as much off the cylinder head to get the CCs that he wants. So now it helps with the integrity of the head too, because now the deck is going to stay very, very thick instead of having to cut that 200 off. Never worry about the weld. That does not have to be hardened or anything. Been doing it for years like that. Never even be concerned about that. And then we'll move on here. Set of max pulls. And then here's one of our manifolds here after, you know, all the work that goes into it and all the finish work. Sure, you know, the finish work is important because the finish work is what is where the details are, and it's all about the details with all of this. The details are so important. A lot of that just is what separates everybody. And when you can get the line straight and everything like that, and you spend the extra time cartridge rolling doing all of that, it will make more power. There is no truth to a rougher port makes more torque. That is absolute nonsense. Don't be caught up in all of that. And if somebody wants to argue, I really don't give a shit, because we've done plenty of testing over the last 30 years. So, and there we go. Got that, or 40 years. God, I'm getting old. Shit. Okay, let's go in here. So we got Mr. Helger stuff's ready to go. So these are in line to be, so we'd already ported the intake. We showed you one. That's the one that was on the bench in there. So that'll be coming back in here for final clean. We'll take a cartridge roll, get the dye off, all of this, and then these might be assembled as quickly as tomorrow. There's some repair work here. This is an old set of Rodex heads from a long time customer. Steve Williams has been our customer for, I think it's 20 years now. It's a long time. So very good. And so you got a 20-year-old set of heads that now looks like a brand new set of heads. So that's how everybody's stuff, when they're finished, when the stuff leaves here, it doesn't matter if it's Steve's, it doesn't matter who it is. That's how everything leaves here. Everybody takes a lot of pride in what they do here. And that's pretty much it, pigs. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and have an excellent week. Thank you. Bye-bye.